Good evening, friends. How are you? I hope you are enjoying your day. I am Kuldeep and I welcome you all in the another session of the weekly live. And here we are helping our participants, our TourDe100 participants, our cyclist friends to share our knowledge about cycling with them so that they can improve their performance, they can improve on their mileage. एंड इन दिस हमारी मदद कर रहे हैं कोच MS श्रीराम.
Namaste.
वेलकम टू द सेशन श्रीराम.
Thank you. My pleasure.
सो श्रीराम का इंट्रो हमने पहले सेशंस में भी शेयर किया. ही इज़ अ परफेक्ट साइकिलिस्ट, ही इज़ अ परफेक्ट कोच एंड ही इज़ अ परफेक्ट bicycle technician. He has done professional certification, I must say, from a known US university. And he is a certified coach and he is giving training to many new and intermediate and expert cyclists. And yes, he is also running a group training. That is, he's a founder of basically SP Sprocket Science India, and he organized a quarterly event that's Sprocket Science Grand Fondo rides in Bangalore. So, Sriram, once again, welcome to the show, welcome to the session, and I welcome all my audience also.
Thank you.
So, today we are going to talk about our first 200-kilometer ride. That's 200 kilometers is a long distance, I must say. And that is because we are also, 200 is also approaching towards its last phase, and longest ride is 200 kilometer. So, we'll hope this session will help in planning their 200 kilometer.
Yes.
So, so Shram, today morning I got a message from one of my friend.
Hmm.
He want to know what other things a cyclist should do apart from cycling to improve their performance.
Okay. Good question. Um, Cycling के साथ साथ एक तो रिकवरी डेज कैन रियली आप बिना कुछ किए एक्चुअली रिकवरी के जरिए थ्रू रिकवरी यू कैन एक्चुअली इंक्रीज योर परफॉर्मेंस so instead of riding every day of the week, right?
Yep.
um, if you can take rest days which are like once in a week, or if you have a very heavy week, if you want to take 2 days in a week, that rest day can actually make your cycling uh, much more better for you. It can make you faster, it can make you stronger. Other than rest days, if you want to do some recovery walks, walking is very good. Walking, normal brisk walking is very good. अगर आपको स्विमिंग का बहुत ही शौक है, स्विमिंग, इफ यू लाइक स्विमिंग, that can also be a good cross training sport, because cold water and ice gives you a relaxation to your muscles, overall body. कुछ लोग whom I know also do a little bit of short runs like 3, 4, 5, 6 kilometers. Normal, मतलब park में they run for like half an hour or something. बट अगर कर रहे हो तो कर सकते हो. सडनली आप रनिंग स्टार्ट करोगे तो ऑब्वियसली पेन्स, एक्स एंड पेन्स होंगे, तो आपका साइकिलिंग थोड़ा इट कैन कम डाउन इन टर्म्स ऑफ शॉर्ट टर्म परफॉर्मेंस गेन, बट लॉन्ग टर्म इट विल बी गुड. So running in the short term might be very difficult to start off as a new sport if you're not into running, but it can be a long term bet. Then obviously, if sometimes me and our friends we're thinking of starting playing mini five-a-side football. That also have अच्छा कर, मतलब ग्रुप राइडिंग, जब ग्रुप राइडर्स लोग हैं तो फाइव साइड फुटबॉल खेलते हो तो एक तरह का बॉन्डिंग बढ़ता है. It is also fun, more fun than anything else. So it's like a different activity of speed. Uh, तो वो हो गया. ट्रैकिंग इज अ गुड थिंग. सो काफी सारा चीज है, बट आई वुड से रेस्ट डेज विच इज डूइंग नथिंग is actually a lot of recovery that can make you go faster. Swimming, running, all these are cardio. Mini five-a-side football, trekking is all cardio, but again group building activities. Mini five-a-side football on a artificial turf, and trekking in the forest. That's one thing. What you can also do is do some body weight exercises, बहुत ही सिंपल, जो आपको ज़्यादा कुछ जिम के इक्विपमेंट नहीं चाहिए, आप कहीं पे भी हो, आप कर सकते हो। जैसे कि पुशअप्स हो गए, लंजेस हो गए, स्क्वाट्स हो गए, स्क्वाट, लंजेस, पुशअप्स, दीज़ आर वेरी सिंपल एंड पुशअप्स में आपको हर तरह के वेरिएशन आपको मिल सकते हैं। तो मैं वेरिएशन में नहीं घुसूँगा, दीज़ आर द थिंग्स, मोटा-मोटी थोड़ा मिक्स अप कर सकते हो आप एंड यू विल सी अ वेरी गुड परफॉर्मेंस। हाँ, फर्स्ट टाइम अगर आप कर रहे हो पुशअप्स और लंजेस, ऑब्वियसली यू विल हैव पेन्स। शॉर्ट टर्म में थोड़ा आपको दर्द आएगा, बट लॉन्ग टर्म में आपको गेन्स आएंगे। तो ये मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि दीज आर द थिंग्स व्हिच यू कैन मिक्स एंड ऐड अप। कैन यू डू ऑल ऑफ इट? नो। चूज विच वन यू लाइक द मोस्ट, पिक, बट रेस्ट डेज, I would say for sure rest days. Yoga also, yoga is also been very very good benefit for long term flexibility and everything. Yeah.
Right, and that's why we have a next session on yoga also.
Yes,
So,
we will be talking about it.
message
Yes,
from Coach Sriram is you should focus on your recovery, you should do some cross training, and you should do some team building, group building activities, sports, games also.
yes,
So, with that, we start for our session. That's how to plan for a first 200-kilometer ride. And meanwhile, I'll request our audience, they can share their experience of first 200 kilometer if they have already done in the comment box. We want to know how was their first 200-kilometer ride. So the
fantastic.
stage is yours, Ram.
Thank
Please
you.
start your session.
Thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody. Today's session is going to be based on how not only to start the 200 kilometers ride nice and strong on fresh legs, but also to end it with a very good, you know, uh, feeling fine and strong at the finish line. That you can do एक 10-15 और किलोमीटर अगर आपको करना है तो, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि करना चाहिए, बट ऐसा you should feel that you can have a little bit more juice to go and finish 15 kilometers more. With that being the agenda for the day, let's say that you basically haven't ever done a 200 kilometers. Let's come with that assumption. So let's say I have want to ride a 200-kilometer ride, and that is somewhere in, let's say, April 2022 this year later on. So I'll start practicing from now. I don't have much of fitness, the cycling fitness, let's assume that way. So अगर मैं अपने आप को खुद train करता, right, as a coach, if I were to write a workout plan for myself, and I do not have a lot of experience in cycling, let's assume that, how would I go about it? So very simple. I have made some notes. So to be keeping it very simple, I have divided my plan into a 4 phase plan. ठीक है? So 4 phases. That means पहला एक फेज रहेगा, फिर दूसरा, फिर तीसरा, फिर चौथा. And by the time I hit the चौथा phase, I should be somewhere in April or May, whenever that 200-kilometer ride is, where I should be able to pull it off. Okay, now if you're listening to this video, if you want to do a 200-kilometer ride next week, no worries. If you've already completed these 3 phases or 4 phases in the last 3-4 months, fantastic, do it. If you still haven't completed, it's okay. I have given you a reference point as a coach, right? And I have to ensure that it's a conservative plan so that it suits all. One plan might not be everything for everybody, but this is the safest plan for everybody to follow, where along with your goal to do a 200-kilometer ride, for me as a coach, is you need to do that 200-kilometer ride, you need to finish strong, and you need to be injury free after that, right? So your goal is to do a 200-kilometer ride. My goal as a coach for all of you is to have you finish the 200-kilometer ride at the finish line very strong and not have any injury in the whole process of training. So that being the agenda for the session, let me start off with the first phase. And the first phase is very very simple. Okay, the first phase will be, I've just made notes here. So पहला phase समझ लो कि you're just getting onto a bike, you've been about a few weeks old into a bicycle, uh, get used to the bicycle. So I would like to say this phase is familiarization phase. ठीक है, जान लो what is the kind of bike you're having, Don't just end up with a bike on a 200-kilometer ride which you don't know. Get used to the machine, get used to everything around the bicycle. Not only on the bicycle, what you're going to wear, what's your helmet going to be, what's your glasses, everything. The entire A to Z of what is going to touch your body, how you're going to operate the bicycle. Get used to that. I would say take 2 to 4 weeks depending on where you are for this familiarization phase. ठीक है. So 2 हफ्ते से लेकर 4 हफ्ता आपके पास टाइम आप पकड़ लो ये फेज के लिए. यहाँ पे आपको टारगेट रहेगा कि आप 200 किलोमीटर से 400 किलोमीटर साइकिलिंग करो फ्लैट सड़क पे. ठीक है. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, सिंपल राइड करना है. लंबे से लंबा राइड कर सकते हैं आप, 40 से 50 किलोमीटर कर सकते हैं. आई एम टॉकिंग अगेन फ्रॉम बेसिक. अगर आप ऑलरेडी काफ़ी सारे एक्सपीरियंसड हो तो ये फेज़ ऑलरेडी आप पार कर चुके होंगे. बट मैं जस्ट बता रहा हूँ कि पहला फेज़ ये होना चाहिए कि यू आर गेटिंग कंफर्टेबल विद द बाइक. सो गेट कंफर्टेबल विद द बाइक. Do short rides, 40 to 50 kilometer rides. It's not about can you do longer rides, but should you do longer rides. ठीक है. So it's about can you do. I'm not saying you can't do, but should you do. So as a coach, जरूरत नहीं है पहले 2 हफ्ते में you can target 200 to 400 kilometers of riding in this phase. Any questions on the phase one, which is intro phase, familiarization phase. ठीक है. Phase one के बाद generally lasts about 2 to 4 weeks. That's up to the people how much time they have. And if you are already ahead of this phase, then welcome to the second phase, which is called the mileage build up phase. Okay. The mileage build up phase is very simple. Mileage क्या होता है? How many kilometers, जितने हम कितने किलोमीटर चलाते हैं. ये फेज में हमारा टारगेट एक ही चीज होगा कि हमें 1000 से 1250 किलोमीटर चलाना है. 1000 से 1200 1300 किलोमीटर चलाना है. ठीक है. 1000 kilometers to 1250 kilometers in this phase. Again, you don't need to do any hills. Okay. And generally I would put 4 to 8 weeks depending on how much is your riding time you have on hand. Again, can you do more? You can. But should you do? No, maybe not. So this is pretty good enough already. So target this. Are you not able to do this much? It's okay. But if you get here, you're in a very good preparatory mode for the next few phases, which I'll tell you which one it is. So in this phase, what are we going to look at? Speed is not important in this phase. Okay. Increasing mileage very gradually is what is important. So the first phase you will end up with 40 to 50 kilometer rides. Okay, nothing more needs to be done per ride, totaling about 200 to 400 in the first phase. Second phase may you will start up with 50-kilometer rides when you start the phase. Okay, and then after some time you'll start increasing your distances, and at the end of those 4 to 8 weeks of this phase you should be looking at somewhere around 130 to 150 kilometer rides, which should be possible self supported. When I say self supported, a lot of people will ride behind somebody in a group, and that can be very easy to ride. ठीक है. अगर आप ग्रुप में चला रहे हो, 5-6 लोग हैं, तो आपको लगेगा कि ईजी है, 100 किलोमीटर भी चला लोगे आप. बट ये राइड्स आप सेल्फ सपोर्ट करोगे, नॉट विद एनी असिस्टेंस. हाँ, दोस्त लोग हो सकते हैं ग्रुप में, बट आपको हेड आउट करना पड़ेगा. तो generally a 130 kilometer ride done solo, let's say with friends behind you, it's okay. But ahead of you is not the ideal thing, is what I would say. So you should have the own takat. Don't go behind any vehicle and draft, because that is not self supported. That is हवा काट रहा है कोई आगे, कुछ अगर गाड़ी रहेगा तो हवा काटेगा, तो आपको फिर वो एफर्ट आपको लगेगा नहीं कि आपने चलाया है खुद से. तो स्टार्टिंग आप 50 किलोमीटर के राइड से कर सकते हो, बट ये फेज एंड होते होते 4 से 8 हफ्तों में आपको 130 या 150 किलोमीटर चलाने का कैपेसिटी होना चाहिए, फिटनेस होना चाहिए. और ये स्ट्रिक्टली होगा टाइम बेस, टाइम स्पेंट ऑन द सैडल. तो ये आप फास्ट चला के नहीं कमा सकते इसको. एंड्योरेंस जो है इसके लिए यू विल हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम ऑन द सैडल. So for this is a slow, very boring side of the cycling, which is not very glamorous, but you have to spend the time, you have to give the distance the value. And अगर आप 130-150 किलोमीटर चला भी रहे हो, तो वो राइड पे 400 से 500 मीटर एलिवेशन गेन हो सकता है क्यूमुलेटिव। दैट्स ओके। छोटा मोटा हिल्स आएगा, तो यू शुड बी एबल टू नेगोशिएट दैट इन दैट 130-150 किलोमीटर राइड टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द 4 to 8 week period. Okay. Why have I said 4 to 8 weeks? It depends on your fitness. If you already are coming in somewhere already at 80 kilometers of fitness already, which you have in your legs already, then you'll not have to do those 8 weeks. You can finish it off in 4 weeks or 6 weeks. Depends. You can see where you fit in. ठीक है. ये फेज में अगर आपके पास ताकत है, सेकेंड फेज में, ये जो माइलेज बिल्डअप फेज में अगर आपके पास ताकत है, तो थोड़ा बहुत स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग अगर आप हफ्ते में 1 या 2 सेशन, इफ यू कैन कीप 1 or 2 sessions फॉर स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग, इफ यू हैव द स्ट्रेंथ, a little bit of more energy during a week, अगर if you can keep a little bit of strength training exercises uh, added to your weekly workout, that will be fantastic. It's sometimes it's possible to skip, but it's okay. Here strength training is definitely going to support you in the long run. What is strength training? You don't need to go to a big fancy gym. uh, you need a open space. You can do it in the house, but I like to do it outdoors, where there's nice air, nice breeze. So I would say simple three exercises which you need to focus on is push-ups, lunges, and squats. Body weight squats, lunges हो गए, तो उसमें काफ़ी सारे वेरिएशंस आते हैं. मैं आपको आज के सेशन में उसके बारे में नहीं बोलने वाला हूँ, बट आप वेरिएशंस देख सकते हो. काफ़ी सारे बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड एक्सरसाइज देखने को मिलते हैं इंस्टा पे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स के ज़रिए. इन्फ्लुएंसर का काम होता है आपको इन्फ्लुएंस करना वर्कआउट स्टार्ट करने के लिए. ठीक है, तो वो एक्सरसाइज जो आप देखोगे इट इज़ वेरी अट्रैक्टिव टू लुक एट. लाइक बटन दबाओ, शेयर करो, फैंटास्टिक. बट अगर करना चाहोगे तो पहले सोचो कि बेसिक उसका वेरिएशन करके फिर आप वो वेरिएशन में जाओगे, तो दैट इज बेटर ऑफ, राइट? इट्स गुड टू गेट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड, but then see where you fit in that whole process of that workout chain. I'm not saying don't do it, but look where you need to what you need to do. Pick those exercises which are simpler the better, because injury risks are lower. Okay. um, so good to get influenced, but look at what your plan is, where you fit in. So this is the second phase. Any questions for the second phase? We have come to the end of the second phase. What is what? Basic summary: 4 to 8 weeks long. Second phase. Target is 1,000 to 1,250 kilometers of cycling in this phase. You're not looking at hills. You're looking at starting off this phase with a 50-kilometer ride, but then towards the end of this phase, when you're very strong and fit, by spending a lot of time on the rides on the saddle, you should be able to do a 130-kilometer ride. uh, Feeling tired after at the end of it is okay, welcome, but that should be your goal, and it should be self supported. You can have friends along with you, but if they are the ones who leading you out, that means they're taking away the effort from you, right? Okay. Third phase is quite tough phase. It needs a little bit of more drive and push. That is, add some hills in your cycling. ठीक है, hills climbing repeats. So आपके राइडिंग रूट्स के आसपास कहीं ना कहीं आपको मिलेगा कि चढ़ान रहेगा, where there's an uphill climb. It can be as short as 3 kilometers, as long as 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers. Distance of the climb doesn't matter. What matters is it's supposed to be traffic free, because going down you should not have a lot of traffic, because that can be very dangerous. So it should be somewhere which is having a good surface which you can climb and do repeats. So you start from bottom, you go on top, take a U-turn, come back, repeat 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, depends kitna ताकत है. um, this climbing will make you very strong. Okay, and not only strong for uphill climbing, but it will also make you strong when you're riding normal flat roads. It will make you very efficient. ठीक है, तो ये मैं बोलूँगा कि ये काफ़ी सॉलिड वर्कआउट रहेगा. एजेंडा क्या होगा आपको? ऑब्वियसली इसका वर्क वार्म अप करना पड़ेगा क्लाइंबिंग करने के पहले. यू जस्ट कांट गेट ऑन अ बाइक एंड देन सडनली स्टार्ट क्लाइंबिंग. यू नीड टू हैव सम वार्म अप एंड देन स्टार्ट द क्लाइंब. So ideally, about 10 kilometers of warm up or 20 kilometers of warm up is recommended, and then you do the climb based on time. Uh, Speed is again not the agenda here. The agenda is to do the climb without stopping and then again take a turn, come back down, again do the climb. Downhill speed is obviously not important here because we're not looking at downhill speed. So don't get confused with downhill. So downhill you can walk, you can take a bus down. कोई उसका ये नहीं है. डाउनहिल के बारे में आप फोकस मत करो, बहुत ही धीरे से चलाओ और अपहिल अपने स्पीड से चलाओ. डू नॉट गेट ऑफ द बाइक. सो अगर आपको लग रहा है कि ये बाइक से उतरने का आपको लग रहा है कि दिस ग्रेडियंट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर मी टू क्लाइंब, सो मे बी यू नीड टू पिक अ डिफरेंट हिल विच इज ईजियर टू क्लाइंब. ठीक है, पिक अ ईजियर प्लेस टू डू द क्लाइंबिंग रिपीट्स. Second, if you're still not able to climb even with the easier hill, check with a bicycle mechanic technician कि आपका gearing का ratio सही है कि नहीं है. There are a lot of gearing ratios available in the market. If you have questions, you can please post in your comments right now. I can answer. So gearing ratios are there behind in your bike where the rear derailleur is. It's called a cassette. तो वो चेंज कर सकते हो आप. वो थोड़ा बहुत आपके पास ऑप्शन है. सामने के चेन रिंग्स है वो भी आप चेंज कर सकते हो. हालांकि पीछे चेंज करके आपको काफ़ी सारा ऑप्शन मिल जाता है, सामने चेंज करने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. सो गेयरिंग रेशियो पे ध्यान दीजिएगा. अगर गेयरिंग रेशियो बहुत ही टाइट है तो चढ़ने में बहुत मुश्किल हो सकता है. Third thing is, if you're still not able to climb without any issue, that means you need to go back to the previous phase, which is the mileage build-up phase. तो उस पे आप ठीक से आप माइलेज बिल्डअप करोगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो फिटनेस आपको ये फेज में काम आएगा. दैट फिटनेस विल हेल्प यू इन दिस थर्ड फेज ऑफ क्लाइंबिंग. क्लाइंबिंग फेज इज नॉट फॉर स्पीड. It is to only increase your power, efficiency, and cycling fitness overall. It will make you a climbing machine. It will make you super strong. It will keep you injury proof. In a way, I'm not saying it's the one way to keep yourself injury proof. It's one of the very important ways. Target time for this to do climbing repeats in this phase would be 2 weeks. Target elevation gain of 6,000 meters is what given. I've given थोड़ा ज़्यादा. अगर आप 4,000 मीटर भी कर सकते हो एलिवेशन गेन टोटली इन दीज 2 weeks, it's great. If you do 6,000, it's amazing. Depends on the elevation, how much each climb repeat has got. So you can always see 4,000 से 6,000 मीटर elevation gain आ रहा है कि नहीं in this 2 weeks phase, not overall phase, in these 2 weeks. So you need to do a lot of climbing. Um, okay, any questions on this one? Okay, 3 phases हो गए हैं. ठीक है, चौथे फेज में जाएंगे. ठीक है, ज्यादा लंबा नहीं जाएगा, यही लास्ट फेज है. दिस इज द फोर्थ एंड फाइनल फेज. Fourth phase is basically final phase is fine tuning, prepping for nutrition, hydration, and event day ride के हिसाब से आप प्रेप करोगे. तो आपका 200 किलोमीटर का रूट जो है, आप पहले आपको पता रहना चाहिए कि व्हाट इज द रूट, स्टार्ट लाइन क्या है, एंड पॉइंट क्या है, कहाँ पे यूटर्न ले रहा है, कहाँ पे, वेयर इज द एलिवेशन गेन, वेयर इज द एलिवेशन लॉस, वो सब आपको थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा. राइट, जैसे कि कोई हवाई जहाज का पायलट, सम एयरलाइन पायलट इज लुकिंग एट वेयर व्हाट्स द रूट फॉर अ फ्लाइट पाथ. You have to look at your path for the 200 kilometer, right? And plan in advance कि कहाँ पे, you know, where is a good road, bad road, wind conditions, all that. काफ़ी सारे टूल्स हैं ऑनलाइन जो कि आपको आजकल लोकलाइज्ड विंड कंडीशंस भी बताएंगे, टेम्परेचर बताएंगे. वो दिन के टाइम में वो एग्जैक्ट टेम्परेचर क्या है बता सकता है, ह्यूमिडिटी बता सकता है, and road conditions it will tell you. So everything is there. Ask around, your friends will help you about these mapping tools. Fairly accurate. Having some information is better than just guesswork all the time. So that is one thing. ग्रुप राइड्स कर सकते हो आप ये फेज में. पहले फेज में भी कर सकते हो, बट पहले फेज में आप कोई और फास्ट जा रहा है तो उसको पकड़ने के लिए आप नहीं कर सकते इंक्रीज स्पीड, क्योंकि speed is not the essence in this whole training plan for 200 kilometers. It's all about creating endurance. If you already have, you can go faster the next 200 kilometer ride, but here it's about doing your first 200 kilometer ride and finishing strong. So that's why I'm not focused on speed. It's more about finishing strong than finishing fast and not able to finish with a good feeling, right? um, Final phase is prepping. Spend time on in this phase. You will do like a 140 150 kilometer ride. Okay, and try and see what is causing any issue. Everything that you carry for the 200 kilometer ride should be there on this prepping phase. You can't have anything new on you towards the end of this training program. In fact, whatever you want to carry, you should have already made it final during rides with three these phases. But here it has to be the final. इसके बाद you can't even, आई वुड से कि मुझसे कोई पूछता कि कुछ भी नया यूज नहीं करना चाहिए, मैं तो बोलता हूँ चुइंग गम भी नहीं मत खाओ नया, क्योंकि क्या पता chewing gum आपको टेस्ट नहीं लगा, अच्छा नहीं लगा, तो you will not have a good taste during the ride. So I'm just saying, be careful. Do not do anything new before this final phase, during this final phase, and before the final ride day event. um, some example I'll tell you, like the saddle bag. If you change the saddle bag, जो saddle bag saddle के नीचे जाता है, वो अगर टच करने लग गया राइडिंग शॉर्ट्स के साथ, तो आपको पता नहीं था, पहले आपने नहीं लगाया, तो दैट कैन कॉज एन इशू लेटर ऑन ड्यूरिंग राइड, बिकॉज 200 किलोमीटर इज अ वेरी लॉन्ग राइड. 20 किलोमीटर का राइड राइड नहीं है, तो मस्ती से कर सकते हो आप. दैट्स व्हाई आई से बी वेरी श्योर ऑफ व्हाट गोज ऑन द बाइक एंड व्हाट डजंट गो ऑन द बाइक. ट्राई द फूड्स. किसी ने बोला ये का खा लो, किसी ने somebody tells you, gives you a biscuit, don't eat because a friend gave it to you. It needs to figure out in the plan कि 200 किलोमीटर के लिए आपने क्या प्लान किया है, और ये प्लान वर्कआउट होना चाहिए इन द demo ride that you do. And the demo ride can be 70% of 200 kilometers. You don't have to ride a 200 kilometer before a 200 kilometer first ride. So I would say 140 150 kilometer ride is very good for doing a recce of your systems, all systems check. So that is one thing. This phase of the last final phase will be 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, if you've done a very good job in the prepping in all these in the three phases before, I think 1 week is good, or 2 weeks basically. I'll tell you why 2 weeks you need. Target is 140 to 200 kilometers in this total phase of cycling. So if you take out the 140 kilometer ride which you do in this phase, there's not much of riding in this phase, and the reason for that is you also need recovery. तो 200 किलोमीटर के पहले एटलीस्ट 5 days your cycling mileage should come down. Purposely you should not ride a lot, so that your body is well rested 4 5 days immediately before the 200 kilometer ride. Okay, that will make you really fresh at the start line, and that will also help you ride the first 100 120 kilometers with a lot of ease, because you have a lot of energy already. And um, that 140 kilometer ride should be less than 1000 meter elevation gain, because you don't need to push and climb too much. So don't do a climbing repeat in this. Do a 140 kilometer ride with less than 1000 meter elevation gain. Focus on rest during this 1 to 2 weeks. Sleep well each of those days. If you have the access, अगर आपके पास ऑप्शन है स्पोर्ट्स मसाज के पास, आप स्पोर्ट्स मसाज के साथ आप जाओगे, तो स्पोर्ट्स मसाज जस्ट बिफोर द 200 किलोमीटर राइड कैन एक्चुअली हेल्प यू easen off all the tightness in the muscles because of a lot of training which you have done. अगर आप स्क्रॉल अप, मैं जो अभी बताया हूँ आपको, if you see, you have a lot of distance that you have covered in training for 2000 kilometers. I would say almost about 2000 kilometers is what you have covered for this 200 kilometer ride. So roughly 1500 to 1800 kilometers if you do, you are ready for 200 kilometer ride. Now you ask me, अरे बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, मैं तो 200 किलोमीटर चलाने के लिए मैं तो I was riding, after riding just 600 kilometers. But ask yourself, how fresh were you at the finish line? This is all about finishing strong, fresh with a smile. जैसे आप स्टार्टिंग में थे वैसे आप फिनिश में हो क्या. That is your agenda for this 200 kilometer ride. Yes, I'm sure first ride you will have a lot of challenges, but I'm saying अगर ठीक से ट्रेन किए, तो आई थिंक द challenges will be just the heat, how to fight the heat, which you will have already had a lot of intelligence on. आपके पास already idea रहेगा कि आपको कैसे किसके साथ क्या डील करना है. Sports massage before the 200 kilometer ride is a good idea. If you don't have a sports massage, तो वेरी गुड, यू कैन गेट फोम रोलिंग आप कर सकते हो। एक हफ्ता पहले, मतलब 4-5 दिन जो रेस्ट लोगे, तो आप फोम रोलिंग कर सकते हो। वॉकिंग इज ऑलवेज वेलकम। 4-5 दिन पहले वॉकिंग करो, स्लीप, गेट योर गुड स्लीप, लॉट ऑफ वाटर, न्यूट्रिशन, गुड फ्रूट्स, गुड फूड्स, दैट्स इट। तो ये 4 फेज में मैंने बताया कि 200 किलोमीटर चलाने के लिए आप स्टार्ट भी स्ट्रांग करोगे, फिनिश भी स्ट्रांग करोगे, और ट्रेनिंग आपका 4 फेज में। सबसे पहला फेज होगा फेमिलियराइजेशन फेज, जो कि इंट्रो होगा आपके बाइक, आपके जो भी आप पहनते हो, हेलमेट, सब चेक करोगे, 40 से 50 किलोमीटर राइड करोगे। सेकेंड फेज होगा माइलेज बिल्डअप फेज। माइलेज बिल्डअप फेज में फोकस इज ऑन spending more time covering distances, but not per ride. You start off with a 50 kilometer ride in the starting of this phase, do 50, then 60, then 70, then 80. Increase it slowly over a week on week period. Don't be in a rush to increase it suddenly. Rise up like a hot air balloon. Don't go up like a rocket in terms of mileage. So rise up slowly, and end this phase with 1,000 kilometers under your legs. 4 to 8 weeks is what I would give for this. It's okay to take some little bit more time. Third phase is clearly riding a lot of hills in terms of climbing repeats. You don't have to go to Himalaya Parvat to do these hill climbs. They are there around your cities. I told you Bangalore के आसपास है, चेन्नई के आसपास भी हो सकते हैं. um, you have it around Bombay, you have it around Delhi, you have a lot of these places. Try and get some more climbing done. And the fourth phase is the phase of tuning up, planning your nutrition, hydration, all that, doing, because you will have already tested everything. फाइनली रेस्ट करके, एक हफ्ता रेस्ट करके, आप एक हफ्ता लास्ट वीक में आप थोड़ा कम करोगे। मान लो संडे मेरा इवेंट है, तो मंडे से मैं थोड़ा कम करने लग जाऊंगा, ये वीक से 5-6 दिन रेस्ट मिल गया, तो देन आई विल बी फ्रेश ऑन द स्टार्ट लाइन, finish also strong. That's the way it's going to work. These are the 4 phases. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. And now you can tell me, अगर आपने किया हो 200 किलोमीटर्स, आपने कितना डिस्टेंस, how many distance, what's the distance you've done to do those 200? I'm sure you'll have different answers, but I'm more than happy to hear.
Thank you, Sriram. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and understanding about planning first 200 kilometer. And एक चीज मैं अपने ऑडियंस को बताना चाहूंगा, कोच श्रीराम जो भी बोलते हैं वो एक अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बोलते हैं। वो ऑलरेडी इस फेज से गुजर चुके हैं एंड बहुत से उनके स्टूडेंट्स इस फेज से गुजर रहे हैं। सो
Correct.
ही नो एक बिगिनर साइकिलिस्ट कि क्या चैलेंजेस होते हैं, उसका प्रोग्रेस चार्ट क्या होता है, एंड एक इंटरमीडिएट एंड एक्सपर्ट साइकिलिस्ट के क्या चैलेंजेस होते हैं। सो दैट्स अ गुड थिंग अबाउट कोच श्रीराम। सो
तो
नाउ
मैंने नीचे से पूरा बेसिक से मैंने स्टार्ट किया फेजेस। तो आप कहीं पे भी हो सकते हो, कोई भी राइडर, आप अपने आप को देख सकते हो कि कितना मैंने राइड किया है, और वहां पे आप जुड़ सकते हो। मैंने एक्सप्रेस वे दिया है कि यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहा है, वहां तक जा रहा है, तो कहीं पे भी आप बीच से जुड़ सकते हो। बट आपका प्लान लगभग इतना होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से, इंजरी प्रिवेंशन करने के लिए। बाकी
राइट,
वो
ऑब्जेक्टिव
तो
ये
देखा
होना
जा
चाहिए,
सकता है।
यू स्टार्ट स्ट्रॉन्ग, यू फिनिश स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड यू फिनिश विदाउट एनी इंजरी। So that should be
एब्सोल्युटली।
the, and now you're planning and which stage suits you. It all depends on your fitness level, your previous experience, all those things.
यस।
So
एक ही सवाल है, एक ही पॉइंट है, कि किसी ने मुझे पूछा था कि अगर मेरे 200 किलोमीटर राइड में, अगर मैं, इफ आई डिसाइड दैट क्लाइंबिंग नहीं है 200 किलोमीटर में, देर इज नो क्लाइंबिंग देर, फ्लैट रोड है, हो सकता है। सो शायद आप क्लाइंबिंग कम कर सकते हो, बट वो क्लाइंबिंग फेज जरूरी है, क्योंकि दैट विल मेक यू एफिशिएंट ऑन दैट फ्लैट रोड ऑल्सो। So
right,
maybe you don't have to do 6,000 meters. You can do, with 2,000 meters you can get away, one third of
right,
that. But that's
yeah,
always going to help you. Yeah.
right. So we have got a one question. Like one of participant already done 100 mile, 161 kilometer, and he is asking, he is hoping he can do 200 kilometer, and I'm sure he will be able to do it. So
Yes, definitely.
that's for you, Coach Sriram.
Thank you. So yeah, already somebody is thinking that these phases will help him. Sure, more than happy to hear that. और जयदीप पटेल का सवाल है, या कुछ बोल रहे हैं, हाँ हाँ ओके। सिंगल 200 किलोमीटर में आना और जाना रहता है, तो देयर इज गोइंग एंड कमिंग। एक साइड हेडविंड है, वन साइड हेडविंड, वन साइड टेल विंड। तो हाउ टू मैनेज हेडविंड पार्ट? सो वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। तो इन द सेकेंड फेज, माइलेज बिल्डअप फेज में, आपको ये जरूर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा जब आप चला रहे होगे 80 90 100 120 तक। when you're increasing the mileage, you'll see all these kind of different conditions over those 4 to 8 weeks. So that is when you can always see what's working for you or not. Generally, स्पीड पे ध्यान ना दे के स्टेडीनेस पे ध्यान दीजिएगा। मेरा इतना ही बोलना है कि अगर आपको मान लो 100 किलोमीटर करना है वो माइलेज बिल्डअप फेज में, तो मैं उसको 50 जाना और 50 आना कर सकता हूँ, या फिर मैं 25 जाके फिर 25 आना भी कर सकता हूँ। देन आई कैन सी दैट विंड इज वेयर। ऑल्सो लुक एट द स्मोक विच इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स, और sometimes leaves blowing in the air. You can always understand where the wind is coming from. तो वो आप थोड़ा, you can observe with your eyes and see where the wind is blowing. That is another way of judging whether I should go 50 kilometers one way and then struggle back on the headwind, or I can do 25 25 and 25 25 two loops. That is something which you can always plan. But हाँ, हेडविंड में चलाना मुश्किल है, रहेगा, हमेशा होगा। बट क्या है, आप स्ट्रांग होते जाओगे, विंड अपना रुख बदलते जाएगा। तो दैट्स द लॉजिक।
Right. Yep. So many cyclists here challenge especially when they are on the highway, not in the city. They are facing the headwind. But उसका एक अपना अलग मजा है.
एब्सोल्युटली, हाँ हाँ। दूसरा पॉइंट मेरे हिसाब से क्लियरली नहीं आया होगा कि ग्रुप राइडिंग से मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ। बट अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि ग्रुप में पीछे बैठ के 130 किलोमीटर चला चुके हो बिना पसीना बहाए, if that is your achievement of 130 kilometer ride, maybe that's not the best way to do it. If you want to be strong, you need to be self supported. तो आगे आप बैठ के अगर आप कर सकते हो 130 किलोमीटर, दैट्स द बेस्ट वे। एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस वी हैव? हाँ
सॉरी मैंने थोड़ा मिस किया
हाँ,
कुछ
नहीं
network issue.
और कोई क्वेश्चंस हैं पार्टिसिपेंट्स के?
Yeah. सो नो प्रॉब्लम. अभी अगर कुछ क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहे हैं पार्टिसिपेंट से, दे कैन ऑलवेज आस्क. दीज आर द here you can connect with Coach Sriram,
श्योर।
and, and he is always help you, ready to help you.
थैंक यू, थैंक यू कुलदीप। Okay, we have a question. Is night ride better for 160 or 200? Um, um, I would say if it's really hot in the day, maybe then it's a good idea. But then you have to decide whether heat is a greater threat, uh, or the night safety. So I'm not very sure how safe night riding can be and on what kind of roads. Definitely on the highways, night riding, you need to have a very very good light ahead of you, behind you, tail light. And if you have group of friends, only then should you do it. Solo riding in the night might not be the best idea from a safety perspective, but as a cyclist, I would love to ride in the night if it is safe, if I can have my friends support me by being there, present there, then you can look at it. But otherwise, try and see if you can do it in the day. um, that's about it. I think we have come to the end of the session. um, any other questions before we? Okay, see you next week, folks. Have a nice week ahead, and all the best with cycling. Thank you.